The galaxy observed in horror as humans stormed out of the assembly. Ethan Cole walked into the grand chamber of the Galactic Assembly, his boots clicking lightly on the smooth floor. Hundreds of alien delegates filled the room, each sitting in their assigned space, their shapes and forms unlike anything he had ever seen. Some had multiple eyes, some had wings, and some were tall and thin with skin that shimmered like water. The room itself was enormous, stretching higher than the tallest human building, and filled with strange floating lights that changed color as if sensing mood. Ethan kept his face calm, though inside, he felt the tension of a moment that would decide the fate of humanity. Behind him, the human delegation moved quietly, led by Lily Grant, who had been working in space diplomacy for years. She looked around nervously, observing the council members. She had always known humans were small in number compared to other galactic powers, but she had also learned that humans were clever, determined, and unpredictable. The session began with the booming voice of the assembly chairman, a massive creature with 6 arms and skin that glowed pale green. "Humans," the chairman said, "your actions on the edge of the Zetra system have endangered countless worlds. Your fleets attacked without approval, your soldiers ignored protocol, and your colonies have refused to obey galactic law. You will be judged." Ethan listened quietly. He had expected this, but he did not flinch. Humans had been accused many times before, and yet, in all those cases, they had survived because they were clever and patient. He knew the galaxy underestimated them. As the chairman spoke, other delegates began to murmur. A creature with scales the color of midnight whispered to another, and a pair of small, floating beings buzzed in sharp tones. Ethan glanced around, noticing that many of the aliens were trying to hide their fear behind polite words. They all assumed humans were weak and could be bullied. Most of the council believed that humans would beg for mercy, offer gifts, or promise loyalty. Ethan did not smile or speak. He simply watched. One by one, the aliens spoke. Each delegate criticized humanity. A tall, thin alien with long fingers spoke first, its voice echoing like a wind tunnel. "Your species is reckless," it said. "You do not understand diplomacy. Your fleets bring chaos." Another, a short, 4-armed creature, said, "Humans are violent. You destroy without thinking. You do not belong in civilized space." Ethan remained calm. He had heard all these words before. They were empty threats. Humans had endured worse and they had survived. Lily Grant leaned slightly toward Ethan. "They think we are small, weak," she whispered. "They do not know us," Ethan nodded. He did not respond with words. Words were not needed now. Humans had always shown their strength in action, not in speech. The council then voted on the motion to limit human rights, seize their colonies, and reduce their influence in galactic affairs. Ethan watched the voting panels light up, the colors shifting to indicate approval. Nearly all of the delegates voted against humanity. Murmurs filled the chamber. Humans were expected to beg, to negotiate, or to submit. Ethan did not move. Instead, he stood up. The human delegation followed. One by one, Lily Grant, Noah Carter, and other human representatives rose from their seats. Ethan's voice was calm and clear as he spoke, though it carried through the chamber like a shockwave. "Humanity rejects your ruling," he said simply. The chamber froze. Hundreds of alien eyes turned toward the human delegation. Some aliens whispered nervously. Some stiffened as if expecting violence. Ethan did not raise his arms. He did not threaten. He only stood, his expression steady. He understood the power of this moment. The humans did not need to argue. The humans did not need to beg. They simply refused to obey. Then Ethan and the human delegation began to walk out. Their steps echoed against the chamber floor. The sound was simple, human, but it carried more weight than any weapon. The aliens looked at each other, unable to comprehend. They had expected humans to plead or fear them. Instead, humans walked out quietly, firmly, without a single word of complaint or threat beyond what had already been said. The chamber felt suddenly smaller, less certain, and strangely empty as the humans left. Outside the assembly, the human observers waited. Reporters, diplomats, and civilians crowded in viewing areas. Lily Grant stepped out first, followed by Ethan. She could feel the eyes of the galaxy upon them. She knew this moment would be remembered for centuries. Humans had not asked for permission to exist in galactic space. Humans had not begged for safety. Humans had chosen to leave a council that did not respect them. In the halls outside the chamber, aliens hurried. Messengers flew between leaders, and some species began calling emergency meetings. "What does this mean?" a small, winged delegate asked nervously. "Why did they leave? They should beg for mercy." Another responded in a harsh voice, "They are unpredictable. We do not understand humans. We cannot control them." In human terms, it was simple. The galaxy was scared, not of war, but of what humans might do if they were forced to act on their own terms. Back on Earth, the news reached the people quickly. Ethan Cole's statement became a symbol of human dignity. People watched in awe as humans, for the first time in galactic history, refused to be bullied. Noah Carter, the human fleet commander, prepared quietly. Ships left their bases, not to attack but to withdraw from disputed sectors. Humans had always been strategic. Now they would show that strategy did not mean weakness. Lily Grant moved through the command center, coordinating communications between Earth and the remaining human colonies. She observed alien messages flooding in, confused and frightened. The galaxy had expected humans to beg or threaten. Instead, humans had shown confidence and control. This subtle power, this refusal to play by alien rules, was more frightening than any fleet or weapon. Humans had discovered that patience was their greatest weapon. Ethan watched the Earth from orbit as the human ships left the assembly systems. The blue planet looked small, fragile, but he knew its people were strong. Humans had always survived. They had endured famine, war, disease, and natural disasters. The galaxy did not yet understand that humans thrived under challenge. Now, the first challenge of interstellar politics had been met. The humans had refused to submit. They had walked out. As the sun rose on Earth, human fleets moved silently in their stations, preparing to protect their own and their allies. Ethan and Lily looked at the stars, aware that eyes were watching. Alien historians, generals, and leaders would study this moment for decades. They would wonder what humans might do next. Some feared that humans would attack. Some feared that humans would leave and never return. Few understood that humans acted according to principle. They acted according to their dignity. They acted to survive and be respected, not to dominate. In the quiet of space, Ethan turned to Lily. "They do not understand patience," he said softly. "They think our waiting makes us weak. Soon they will see that patience is more powerful than fear." Lily nodded, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. Humans had shown the galaxy that they were no longer subjects to the Council. They were humans, and humans decided their own fate. As humans left the assembly, the chamber remained in shock. The delegates whispered, argued, and planned. Some wanted to punish humans. Some wanted to invite them back. All feared the consequences of underestimating humanity. The galaxy had never seen such quiet confidence. The humans had not shouted, fired weapons, or demanded respect. They had simply walked away, leaving a clear message: respect us, or do not expect our presence. For centuries, the assembly had dominated weaker species. It had assumed its authority would never be questioned. Now, one small human species had shown that respect must be earned, not commanded. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant had changed the balance of power not with force, but with calm courage and unwavering self-respect. This day would be remembered. The galaxy had observed in horror as humans walked out of the assembly. The galaxy woke to confusion. The human delegation had walked out of the assembly, and no one could understand why. Messages from alien systems flooded the communication networks. Some called it a diplomatic disaster. Others whispered that humans were unpredictable and dangerous. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant watched these messages carefully from their command center on Earth. The humans had not attacked. They had not threatened. They had simply refused to obey. Yet the effect was greater than any weapon. In the outer colonies, human settlers looked at the skies. The Council's representatives had long complained about human expansion. They assumed humans were small and weak, easy to control. Now, alien observers who had lived among humans were nervous. The settlers continued their work, farming, mining, and building ships, but the knowledge that the galaxy was watching made every action feel heavier. Human leaders moved quietly but with purpose. Noah Carter, commander of the Interstellar Fleet, studied reports of alien movements. He knew that the galaxy's fear could turn to panic if humans acted wisely. Back in the assembly, the remaining delegates argued. "They will return," one said, wings trembling with anger. "They cannot survive without our support." Another shook its long, thin arms and said, "They are not begging, but they are hiding. We must strike first." The Council did not understand that humans did not need permission or protection. Humans had survived in isolation on Earth for thousands of years, and now they were ready to survive in space on their own terms. Alien news networks broadcast images of human fleets leaving disputed systems. The ships were not aggressive. They moved in organized patterns, withdrawing rather than attacking. Yet the effect was immediate. Trade routes collapsed. Merchant fleets turned back. Worlds that had relied on human ships for protection suddenly felt vulnerable. The galaxy began to sense what humans had always known. Humans were not weak, they were patient. And patience could be terrifying. On Earth, Ethan Cole oversaw the fleet's movements. Each ship had a specific mission, not to conquer or attack, but to secure human colonies and protect civilians. Lily Grant monitored communications. Alien messages were frantic. Some asked for negotiation. Some threatened retaliation. Humans ignored most of them. They had done what they needed to do, show that they would act on their own terms. Human historians and strategists began studying the reactions. "They assumed we were small," Lily said to Ethan one morning. "They thought walking away would scare no one." "Instead, it has scared everyone," Ethan nodded. He had always believed that humans' greatest strength was in their restraint. Humans did not rush into conflict. They did not attack without reason. They were clever and adaptive. The aliens had never faced a species like this. On a distant trading planet, alien merchants gathered in secret. "Why did they leave?" one whispered. "They have no fleets here. They cannot enforce anything." Another shook its head. "It is not about fleets. It is about respect. They do not ask. They do not beg. They simply act." The galaxy is nervous because humans refuse to be treated as lesser. The merchants watched the sky, wondering if humans might return. They were unsure. Some feared that humans had already begun planning something no one could predict. In the human command center, Ethan watched reports from the colonies. A small settlement on the edge of human space had been approached by alien raiders who expected humans to panic. Instead, the colonists reinforced their defenses quietly. They did not attack, but they were ready. Ethan smiled. Humans did not need to strike first. They waited. The galaxy had forgotten that humans could survive anything. As the days passed, alien panic grew. Council members sent messages demanding explanations. Ambassadors visited neutral worlds, warning them about human unpredictability. In response, human diplomats like Lily Grant calmly communicated. Humans seek peace, but humans will no longer accept humiliation. The message was clear and it spread quickly. Respect humans or do not expect their cooperation. On a small mining world, human engineers continued their work while alien observers tried to provoke reactions. One alien commander sent threats, expecting humans to tremble. Instead, the humans responded with efficiency. Defenses were strengthened, supply lines secured, and civilians moved to safe zones. No panic, no aggression, only careful preparation. The aliens grew more fearful. They had misjudged humans entirely. The galaxy slowly realized the truth about human patience. Historians began digging into old records of conflicts and wars involving humans. They discovered that humans had never used their full power in joint operations with other species. In wars where humans fought alongside allies, humans always held back. Weapons were limited, strategies restrained. The galaxy had assumed weakness. In fact, humans were waiting. Humans were choosing the right moment. Lily Grant explained this to a neutral alien ambassador who came to Earth seeking clarity. Humans have always tried peace first, she said. They endure insults, threats, even attacks. But when their patience ends, they act decisively. The assembly was the final insult. Humanity will not beg, and humanity will not be treated as inferior. The ambassador listened, awed and fearful. Humans had a combination of cleverness and restraint that no species had ever seen before. The effect of the human exit from the assembly continued to ripple across the galaxy. Smaller species began contacting humans directly, asking for protection and guidance. Humans did not demand loyalty or payment. They only offered help to those who respected their autonomy. Alien leaders panicked as alliances shifted. Many wondered if the assembly would survive. The humans had left, yet their influence was stronger than ever. On Earth, Ethan Cole and Noah Carter reviewed the positions of human fleets. No ships had fired a weapon. No colonies had been attacked, yet the galaxy's fear was palpable. Alien fleets moved cautiously, hesitant to provoke humans. Communication channels were flooded with requests for dialogue. Humans responded sparingly, their calm presence more intimidating than fleets of warships. Ethan and Lily observed the patterns. Humans did not need aggression to gain power. They only needed to act with clarity and principle. In distant systems, the alien council debated feverishly. "They have left voluntarily," one delegate said, eyes wide with panic. "This is not submission. They control the pace. They control the decisions. If we provoke them, we risk disaster." Another delegate shouted, "We cannot understand them. We must force them back." Yet none could act, for humans had already withdrawn strategically, positioning themselves where they could respond if necessary, but not attacking unless threatened. The galaxy was in an unfamiliar position. Humans held power without a single violent act. Back on Earth, citizens celebrated quietly. News channels relayed reports of alien confusion, not as victory, but as proof of human dignity and resilience. Ethan Cole addressed the command center. "Humans have always survived by being clever, patient, and resilient. Today, the galaxy has learned that lesson. Our people are not weak, and we will continue to protect ourselves and our allies without fear or shame." Lily Grant watched him, proud and cautious. Humans had done something remarkable. They had shown the galaxy that their strength was not in weapons alone, but in character, unity, and patience. The first real test came when a pirate fleet, thinking humans would not respond, attacked a remote colony. Humans did not panic. Fleets moved silently through space, intercepting the pirates before they could reach civilians. Within minutes, the pirate ships were destroyed or surrendered. Human losses were minimal, but the impact on the galaxy was enormous. Stories of human restraint followed by decisive action spread across countless worlds. The lesson was clear. Humans acted with principle, and when action was required, they were unstoppable. Lily Grant sent a message to the Council. "Humans will continue to protect our people and our allies. We do not seek to control others, but we will defend what is ours. Respect humanity, and there will be peace. Ignore this warning and you will face the consequences of misjudgment." The message was simple, direct, and calm. It carried more weight than any threat the Council had ever issued. As the days turned into weeks, alien systems tried to predict human actions. No one succeeded. Humans did not act rashly, but they did not wait endlessly. Every move was measured, deliberate, and effective. Alien leaders realized that human patience was not weakness. It was a weapon. Humans had waited their whole history to be understood and respected, and now that waiting had ended. Ethan Cole watched a holographic map of galactic systems. Every dot represented a world under human protection or influence. Humans had not taken by force. They had not demanded allegiance. Yet the galaxy's balance had shifted. Aliens who once scoffed at humanity now treated humans with caution and respect. Lily Grant observed the Council's messages arriving daily, full of confusion, fear, and requests for negotiation. Humans would answer when it was wise, but never as subjects. In quiet moments, Ethan reflected on the journey. Humans had survived countless hardships on Earth, growing stronger with every challenge. The galaxy had assumed that a species so small in number could be controlled, bullied, or ignored. Humans had simply walked out of the assembly and proved that they were more than survival. They were strategy, courage, and restraint made flesh. The galaxy had seen this for the first time, and it would never forget. By the end of the second week, the galaxy was in turmoil. Alien leaders no longer assumed humans were weak. Smaller species began seeking alliances with humans. Trade routes and agreements had to be renegotiated. Human patience and strategic withdrawal had changed the political landscape entirely. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant had not fired a weapon, and yet the effect of humanity's quiet defiance was stronger than any fleet could achieve. As night fell over Earth, Ethan looked at the stars. Humans had survived wars, plagues, famine, and isolation. Now they had survived interstellar politics. Lily Grant joined him silently, knowing that humanity's greatest strength was not weapons or technology, but patience, unity, and the courage to act on principle. The galaxy had seen the humans walk away, and it had already begun to respect them. Quietly, fearfully, and completely the galaxy still buzzed with uncertainty. Humans had left the assembly, and their calm withdrawal had sent shockwaves across the stars. Alien leaders whispered and argued, trying to understand what humans might do next. Meanwhile, Ethan Cole and Lily Grant observed everything carefully. Humans did not rush. Humans did not panic. Humans waited, knowing that restraint could be more powerful than fleets of warships. On a distant human colony, a team of engineers worked under the twin suns. They maintained ships, repaired stations, and ensured supply lines were secure. Alien raiders had assumed humans would be disorganized or weak. They were wrong. Humans moved with quiet efficiency, preparing for any threat without creating panic. Ethan watched the progress reports from orbit. The humans' patience was their weapon, and the galaxy had only begun to understand it. In the Galactic Council, confusion turned into fear. "They have withdrawn but not fled," one alien delegate said. "They are watching, waiting, and preparing. We do not know when or where they will act." Another voice, sharp and trembling, added, "Humans have never been predictable. Their patience is frightening. We cannot understand it." The Council had assumed humans were impulsive, but now they realized that humans' greatest power lay in their restraint. Patience was not weakness. It was preparation. On Earth, Ethan and Lily reviewed the history of human military campaigns. Humans had fought alongside allies in countless battles, yet records showed that humans never unleashed their full strength. Weapons were often limited, strategies restrained, and victories achieved through clever planning rather than overwhelming force. Humans had survived because they adapted, endured, and waited for the right moment. Now, the galaxy would see why restraint was more dangerous than rash attacks. A neutral alien ambassador arrived on Earth seeking understanding. He had studied humans for decades but still could not predict their behavior. Lily Grant met him in a quiet room. "Humans are patient," she said simply. "We do not attack without reason. We do not rush into conflict. But when action is required, we act decisively." The assembly insulted humanity. "Our patience has ended. You must understand this before it is too late." The ambassador nodded, silent, awed, and a little frightened. Far away, a pirate fleet thought it had an easy target. A small human colony near the edge of space appeared isolated and weak. The pirates moved quickly, confident that humans would panic or surrender. But humans did not panic. Noah Carter ordered the fleet to intercept. Ships moved into position silently, without warning, and within hours, the pirate fleet was destroyed. The aliens who had observed the battle were stunned. Humans had acted only to protect themselves, yet the result was total and undeniable. No civilian was harmed, no ship escaped, and the pirates were defeated without hesitation. Reports of the battle spread across the galaxy. Aliens whispered in fear. Historians began revising old records, realizing that humans had always held back. Every war humans fought alongside allies had been controlled. Humans could have destroyed entire enemy fleets if they wanted, but they chose restraint. The galaxy had misunderstood human patience as weakness. Now it saw restraint as a kind of power no one could match. Ethan Cole addressed the human command center. "Humans have always survived because we think and endure," he said. "We do not need to dominate. We do not need to threaten. Our strength is in knowing when to act, and we act decisively when necessary." The galaxy will learn this lesson quickly. Lily Grant watched him, proud. Humans had survived centuries of hardship on Earth, and now they were teaching the galaxy that patience could be stronger than weapons. Smaller species began to approach humans directly. They had been ignored or bullied by larger alien powers for generations. Now, humans offered protection without demanding obedience. Humans helped these species secure their colonies, protect trade routes, and defend against aggressive neighbors. Aliens who had once dismissed humans were confused. Humans had not demanded loyalty or tribute. They had acted on principle and shown that their word and their action were aligned. In a remote part of space, an alien fleet debated whether to attack a human colony. "We cannot allow them to grow stronger," one leader said. "They are patient, but they are dangerous." Another disagreed. "If we strike, we risk provoking them. They act only when necessary. We do not know what they might do." The fleet hesitated, unsure, fearful. Humans did not attack first. Humans simply prepared, waited, and defended themselves when needed. This calm and careful approach had unsettled even the most aggressive species. On Earth, Ethan and Lily studied communication channels. Alien fleets sent frantic messages, hoping for negotiation or intimidation. Humans replied only when necessary, calmly and clearly. "We will defend ourselves and those who respect us," Lily wrote. "We do not seek to dominate. We do not beg for approval. Respect humans and there will be peace. Ignore this and you risk our response." The message was simple, direct, and terrifying in its clarity. Humans had not shouted. Humans had not fired. They had simply spoken the truth. As weeks passed, humans continued to demonstrate their restraint. Human colonies reinforced their defenses quietly. Ships moved through space strategically, protecting civilians without attacking unless provoked. Alien observers began to report that human coordination was unmatched. Humans adapted quickly, anticipated threats, and responded effectively. They did not need to intimidate. Their calm, deliberate actions were enough to change the galaxy's perception of them. In the Galactic Council, panic grew. Delegates realized that humans' patience had been misunderstood. They were not weak. They were calculating, clever, and capable of overwhelming force if provoked. "We cannot predict them," one alien said. "We cannot control them. They are patient, but that patience makes them dangerous." The council had assumed humans would submit or beg. Instead, Humans had shown that dignity, principle, and readiness could be more powerful than fleets of warships or armies. On a distant planet, humans held a training exercise. No weapons were fired, yet every soldier, every pilot, and every engineer moved with precision. Aliens who observed were confused. The humans seemed calm, unhurried, almost gentle. Yet if attacked, the humans were capable of instant and total response. Restraint and preparation were combined into a force that was unpredictable, efficient, and terrifying to those who misunderstood it. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant watched reports of these activities. Humans have always used restraint as a tool, Ethan said. We wait, we endure, and when action is required, we do not hesitate. The galaxy is only now beginning to understand what patience means in human hands. Lily nodded. The lesson was clear. Humans had never sought unnecessary conflict, but when provoked, their response was absolute and decisive. This was the true power the Assembly had underestimated. As months passed, humans began to form quiet alliances. Small species approached humans for protection, not submission. Humans offered guidance, security, and cooperation without demanding control. Alien leaders were forced to reconsider their assumptions. Humans had walked out of the assembly not in anger, but in principle. They did not threaten, yet they had changed the balance of power. The galaxy had learned that patience, clarity, and courage could be more powerful than aggression. In orbit above Earth, Ethan Cole looked at the stars. Humans had survived famine, war, and disaster on Earth for thousands of years. Now they were surviving in space. The galaxy had underestimated them for centuries. Humans had not rushed, had not panicked, and had not sought glory. They had waited, planned, and acted with principle. The effect was unmistakable. Humans were no longer just another species. They were a force of strategy, patience, and decisive action. Lily Grant joined him silently. Together, they watched reports of alien fleets hesitating to act, smaller species seeking human guidance, and pirates learning the cost of misjudging humanity. Ethan spoke softly. They assumed our patience was weakness. They assumed our restraint meant fear. Now they know patience is power. The galaxy will remember this. Lily nodded, proud. Humans had survived centuries of hardship on Earth, and now they were showing the galaxy the true depth of human strength. As the galaxy observed, humans continued to move quietly. They fortified colonies, coordinated trade, and protected allies. Alien leaders debated in panic. Historians revised old assumptions. Humans had waited their entire history for this moment. Now, patience had become their greatest weapon. Restraint had become their shield. Clarity and principle had become their sword. And the galaxy was only beginning to see the full power of humanity. The Galactic Assembly was in chaos. Humans had not returned, yet their absence spoke louder than any argument. Delegates argued among themselves, their voices sharp and confused. Some demanded immediate action against humanity, believing that patience was a trap. Others warned that attacking humans could bring disaster. No one knew what humans would do next, and that uncertainty terrified them. Back on Earth, Ethan Cole and Lily Grant watched these developments carefully. Humans did not panic. They did not celebrate. They prepared quietly, positioning fleets to defend colonies and allies. Noah Carter inspected ships, ensuring that every system was ready. Humans had learned long ago that preparation, patience, and calm were more effective than rash action. Now, the galaxy was learning the same lesson, whether they wanted to or not. Alien leaders called emergency sessions. Holographic panels lit up with hundreds of anxious faces. "They have withdrawn," one alien shouted. "They have no fleets here, no power beyond their systems." "Why do we fear them?" Another answered, voice trembling. "Because they act only when necessary. They do not panic, they do not beg, they wait. And when they act, it is decisive." The council had always relied on intimidation and force. With humans, these tools had failed. The species had shown that principle, restraint, and clarity could change the galaxy without firing a single shot. Inside the Council, some species called for war. They proposed fleets to invade human space, to destroy the colonies, and to force humans to submit. Others begged for diplomacy, sending messages of apology and offers to reopen talks. Every message received the same calm reply: humans will defend themselves and their allies, but they will not negotiate under insult. The simple message carried weight that no weapon could match. Humans had acted with principle, and the galaxy was beginning to fear that principle. Meanwhile, human fleets moved quietly. They reinforced borders, protected colonies, and ensured civilians were safe. No weapons were fired. No fleets advanced aggressively. Yet the galaxy noticed. Systems that had relied on human fleets for years suddenly found themselves vulnerable. Smaller species, realizing the humans were serious, began seeking human protection directly. Humans did not demand loyalty or payment. They only offered aid to those who respected human autonomy. The message was clear: respect humans or be left to face consequences alone. In a distant sector, a group of alien traders discussed the situation. "They have not attacked," one said. "Yet their presence is stronger than any fleet we have seen." Another replied, "They do not threaten, they only act when necessary. Patience has made them dangerous." The traders realized that humans had changed the rules of galactic power. No longer could species assume that aggression, intimidation, or alliances alone ensured control. Humans acted on principle, and the galaxy had to adapt. On Earth, Ethan Cole reviewed reports of fleets and colonies. Humans had encountered small attacks from pirate groups and rogue fleets. In every case, humans responded decisively. Fleets moved to intercept threats, colonies reinforced defenses, and every action was coordinated. No one had suffered unnecessary harm. Yet the galaxy watched in fear. The humans had shown that they were not reckless. They were not weak. They were precise, patient, and powerful when action was required. Lily Grant monitored communications from alien leaders. Messages flooded in, some pleading for understanding, others threatening retaliation. Humans replied calmly, never overreacting. "We do not seek war," Lily wrote. "We do not seek dominance. We defend ourselves and our allies. We do not negotiate under insult. Respect humanity or face the consequences of misjudgment." The clarity of the message struck the galaxy harder than fleets or weapons ever could. Humans had demonstrated that principle was a power that demanded respect. The Council's panic grew. Smaller species left the assembly, seeking protection from humans. Alliances shifted quietly, and the assembly's authority weakened. Delegates whispered in fear, realizing that the humans had not threatened them, but the effect of their action, walking out, waiting, and defending themselves when necessary, had already reshaped the galaxy. Humans had shown that patience and principle were more powerful than any council vote or fleet of ships. In human command centers, Ethan Cole and Noah Carter prepared for the long term. Humans did not act aggressively. They did not seek conquest. They secured colonies, protected trade routes, and coordinated with allies. Every decision was deliberate. The galaxy watched, uncertain and afraid. Humans had the power to act decisively at any time, but they had chosen restraint. This restraint was more intimidating than any weapon. In another sector, alien historians studied past human conflicts. They discovered records of humans fighting alongside allies but holding back their full strength. Humans could have destroyed entire fleets, yet they chose to act with precision and restraint. Now, the galaxy understood that humans had never been weak. Their patience had been a shield, their restraint a weapon, and their principle a sword. Species that had underestimated humans were learning the hard way. On Earth, Ethan Cole addressed the command center. "Humans have survived countless challenges on our planet," he said. We have endured war, famine, disease, and isolation. Now we survive in space with the same principles: patience, preparation, and decisive action when required. The galaxy fears what it does not understand. We will continue to act with clarity and principle, and the galaxy will learn to respect us. Lily Grant watched the Council's responses arrive. Humans had not fired a weapon, yet the galaxy was terrified. This was the power of restraint and principle. As alien fleets debated their next moves, humans quietly strengthened their positions. Colonies were protected, supply lines secured, and civilians moved to safety when necessary. Humans did not panic, they did not rush, and they did not attack unnecessarily. Yet their movements were precise, coordinated, and effective. The galaxy realized that humans could act decisively at any time. Patience had become a weapon, and restraint a shield. Small species approached humans for guidance and protection. Humans offered aid without demanding loyalty. This shifted alliances across the galaxy. Alien leaders were forced to reconsider their assumptions. Humans had walked out of the assembly in principle, and that single act had changed galactic politics. Species that had once scoffed at humans now watched them with caution, respect, and fear. A fleet of alien raiders tested human defenses, believing they could take a small colony by surprise. Human forces responded immediately, coordinating with precision. Ships intercepted the attackers, defenses neutralized threats, and the raiders were destroyed or forced to retreat. Civilians were safe, no collateral damage occurred, and humans did not pursue unnecessary vengeance. The galaxy took note. Humans acted decisively, but only when necessary. This was the true strength of restraint. In the assembly, panic reached new heights. Delegates argued bitterly. Some wanted immediate retaliation. Others wanted to negotiate. They had misjudged humans for centuries, assuming impatience or weakness. Now, humans had shown that patience and principle could reshape the galaxy without a single aggressive act. Fear spread through the Council as smaller species left for human protection. The humans' exit from the assembly had achieved more than intimidation. It had shifted the balance of power entirely. On Earth, Ethan Cole reviewed all systems. Humans had prepared for any eventuality. Every colony, every fleet, every supply line was coordinated. Humans did not seek war. They did not seek to dominate. They acted to protect themselves and their allies. Yet their calm and deliberate actions caused fear across the galaxy. Alien leaders had never faced a species that could be both patient and deadly, restrained and precise. Humans had changed the rules of galactic power simply by acting with principle. Lily Grant monitored communications from distant systems. Alien leaders sent desperate messages. Some pleaded for clarity. Some demanded explanation. Humans replied calmly, clearly, and without threat. "We act only when necessary," Lily wrote. "We defend our people and our allies. We do not negotiate under insult. Respect humanity and there will be peace. Fail to respect us and you will learn our patience has limits." The message was simple, yet terrifying. Humans had shown that restraint and principle could be more powerful than fleets or armies. By the end of the 4th month, the assembly was weakened, fractured, and fearful. Smaller species turned to humans for guidance and protection. Alien historians revised records, realizing that humans had always held back their full strength in conflicts. Humans had survived and thrived through patience, endurance, and decisive action. The galaxy had misjudged humans for centuries. Now the galaxy understood. Humans were patient, clever, and unstoppable when principle required action. Ethan Cole stood on the command bridge of the Central Fleet. Humans had done nothing aggressive. No war had begun. Yet the galaxy's balance had shifted. Alien leaders debated and feared. Smaller species aligned with humans quietly. Pirates and raiders learned that misjudging humans was dangerous. Humans had walked out of the assembly, and the galaxy had taken notice. Patience, restraint, and principle had become the most powerful weapons in space. Lily Grant joined Ethan silently. Together, they watched reports of alien fleets hesitating, smaller species seeking guidance, and threats neutralized efficiently. Humans had acted with principle, patience, and precision. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Ethan spoke softly. Humans have survived everything on Earth. The galaxy assumed we were weak. They assumed our patience was fear. Now they know patience is power. The moment we walked out of the assembly, the rules changed. Lily nodded, proud. Humans had reshaped galactic politics without aggression, without threats, and without losing their dignity. The galaxy would remember this day forever. The galaxy had changed. Humans had walked out of the assembly months ago, and their calm, deliberate actions had shifted the balance of power. Alien leaders were uncertain, fearful, and respectful. Humans had not fired weapons to conquer. They had not threatened systems unnecessarily. They had acted with principle, patience, and precision, and the galaxy could not ignore them. On Earth, Ethan Cole and Lily Grant observed the galaxy from command centers orbiting the planet. Human fleets were in position, protecting colonies and trade routes. Every system was coordinated. Civilians were safe. Humans had done everything quietly, without panic or chaos, yet the effect was undeniable. Alien fleets moved cautiously near human space. Smaller species sought guidance and protection. The galaxy had learned a simple truth. Humans acted decisively only when necessary, and that decisiveness was unmatched. Human fleets moved quietly through space, reinforcing distant colonies and maintaining supply lines. Humans had learned long ago that patience was as important as strength. They did not attack unless provoked. They did not demand loyalty. They offered aid, security, and cooperation to those who respected them. Alien historians and leaders noted that this combination of restraint, efficiency, and principle was unlike anything they had ever seen. In the outer systems, smaller species gathered to speak with human diplomats. They had been ignored or bullied by larger powers for centuries. Now, humans offered guidance and protection. Humans did not ask for obedience, only respect. Ethan Cole addressed representatives of several species in a holographic conference. "We do not seek to control," he said. "We only protect those who respect autonomy. Humanity will act to defend ourselves and our allies. Our principle is simple: patience, preparation, and decisive action when necessary. This is how we survive and how we thrive." The alien delegates listened carefully, understanding for the first time that humans operated by rules no one had considered before. In the galaxy, alien leaders argued. The assembly had lost influence. Some systems left the council entirely, seeking protection from humans. Trade routes shifted. Alliances changed. Species that had underestimated humans now approached them cautiously, recognizing the strength in restraint and principle. Humans had reshaped the political landscape not with violence, but with patience, clarity, and careful action. On a distant colony, human engineers repaired stations while alien observers watched. Pirates had tried to attack, expecting humans to panic. They had failed. The humans had coordinated fleets to intercept threats, neutralized enemy ships, and protected civilians without unnecessary destruction. The galaxy had seen what humans could do when action was required. Patience had been the shield. Decisive action had been the sword. Alien leaders whispered in fear and respect. Back on Earth, Ethan Cole and Lily Grant reviewed reports of fleets and colonies. No human had acted rashly. No ship had fired unnecessarily. Yet the galaxy had learned to fear the humans' calm and deliberate efficiency. Humans had survived every challenge on Earth. They had endured war, famine, and disaster. Now they survived in space with the same principles. Restraint, patience, and decisive action had become their greatest weapons. Smaller species approached humans for guidance in defense, trade, and governance. Humans offered assistance, never demanding tribute or loyalty. Alien leaders were forced to reconsider their assumptions. Humans had walked out of the assembly with dignity and principle. The galaxy could no longer assume humans would submit or beg. Humans acted on their own terms, and their terms were respected. On a human colony at the edge of space, a fleet arrived to reinforce defenses. Alien raiders tried to test them, assuming humans would be disorganized. Instead, humans responded with precision. Fleets intercepted the attackers, defenses were reinforced, and civilians were safe. Humans had acted decisively, but only to protect themselves and their allies. The galaxy observed, realizing that restraint could be as deadly as aggression. Humans had taught a lesson no one could forget. In the Galactic Council, panic persisted. Delegates debated how to respond to humanity. Some wanted war, others pleaded for diplomacy. All agreed that humans could not be predicted. The patience, restraint, and principle of humans had shifted the galaxy's balance of power. Smaller species left the assembly to seek protection from humans. The council had lost influence. Humans had changed the rules of politics without firing a weapon. On Earth, Ethan Cole addressed the command centers. "Humans have survived everything on our planet," he said. "We have endured hardship, war, famine, and isolation. Now we thrive in space with the same principles: patience, preparation, and decisive action when necessary. The galaxy respects our restraint, but it also fears our principle. This is how humanity will ensure safety and cooperation without aggression or tyranny." Lily Grant nodded. The message was clear. Humans were no longer to be underestimated, and the galaxy had learned it. As months passed, humans continued their calm, deliberate expansion. Colonies were protected, supply lines were maintained, civilians were safe. Alien fleets moved cautiously near human space. Smaller species sought human guidance. Trade routes shifted to accommodate human coordination. The galaxy learned that humans could act decisively at any moment, yet they waited, prepared, and maintained principle above all. Restraint had become a weapon, patience a shield, and principle a sword. On a distant planet, alien leaders met secretly. They discussed humans and the lessons of restraint. "They do not attack first," one said. "They do not demand loyalty or tribute, yet their patience makes them dangerous. They act only when necessary, and when they act, it is decisive." Another added, "We misjudged them for centuries. Humans are clever, patient, and principled. We cannot predict them, yet we must respect them." The galaxy slowly recognized that human strength lay not in numbers, fleets, or weapons, but in discipline, clarity, and principle. In orbit above Earth, Ethan Cole reviewed reports. Human colonies were thriving. Fleets were ready. Trade and communication were efficient. Humans had acted decisively when necessary, yet the galaxy had not seen aggression. Alien leaders debated strategy, but humans' restraint had shifted the balance of power entirely. Patience, principle, and decisive action had made humans a force unlike any other. Lily Grant observed communications from alien leaders. Desperate pleas, offers of alliance, and warnings arrived constantly. Humans replied calmly, clearly, and with principle. "We will defend our people and our allies," Lily wrote. "We do not seek dominance. We act decisively only when necessary. Respect humans and there will be peace. Disregard principle and you will see the cost of misjudgment." The simplicity and clarity of the message carried more weight than fleets, armies, or weapons. Humans had changed the galaxy. By the end of the year, human influence had grown. The assembly was weakened. Smaller species relied on humans for protection and guidance. Alien fleets hesitated near human space. Pirates learned not to challenge humans. Humans had walked out of the assembly months ago, yet their calm, deliberate actions had reshaped the galaxy. Principle, patience, and decisive action had proven more powerful than aggression or intimidation. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant watched the galaxy carefully. Humans had survived centuries on Earth, enduring hardship and adversity. Now they thrived in space with the same principles. Humans had not sought glory or conquest. They had acted with dignity, restraint, and clarity. Yet the galaxy could not ignore them. Humans were a force to be respected, feared, and understood. As humans continued to protect colonies and aid allies, alien leaders realized that resistance was futile. The galaxy had changed. The humans had walked out of the assembly with principle and restraint, and in doing so, they had created a new order. Smaller species sought human guidance. Trade and alliances shifted. Fleets moved carefully. The galaxy had learned that humanity's patience was not weakness but power. Restraint was not fear but strength. Principle was not negotiation but authority. On Earth, Ethan Cole addressed the command centers. Humans have survived everything on our planet, he said. We thrive in space with the same principles: patience, preparation, and decisive action when necessary. The galaxy respects our restraint, but it also fears our principle. This is how humanity will protect itself and its allies, without aggression or tyranny. Lily Grant nodded silently, proud. Humans had survived centuries of hardship, and now they had reshaped the galaxy. The lesson was simple: patience, principle, and decisive action were more powerful than fleets, weapons, or fear. The galaxy remembered the day humans walked out of the assembly. It was not a day of anger or conflict. It was a day of principle, clarity, and restraint. Humans had shown that patience was a weapon, restraint a shield, and principle a sword. Alien leaders learned to respect humans. Smaller species sought guidance. Pirates and raiders learned caution. The galaxy had changed forever. Ethan Cole and Lily Grant watched the stars. Humans had survived, adapted, and thrived. They had acted with principle, restraint, and decisiveness. The galaxy had learned that humanity was never weak. It was patient. It was clever. It was principled. And now the galaxy had no choice but to respect it. The humans' calm defiance had created a new order. The galaxy had seen patience become power, restraint become strength, and principle become authority. Humanity had reshaped the stars without a single act of unnecessary aggression.